The year was 2019. Life was moving at breakneck speed, and everyone was craving a break from the daily grind. Three buddies, Mark, John, and Kevin, decided to answer the call of the wild. They'd been planning this trip for months, dreaming of the epic adventures that awaited them. Montana, with its towering pines and glacial lakes, was calling their names. The untouched beauty of the landscape promised a chill escape from their daily routines. It promised adventure, a break from the city's humdrum. Nights under the stars, stories shared by the campfire, and the simple joy of being surrounded by nature. Little did they know, it held a different kind of experience in store, one of primal fear. The wilderness, while beautiful, can also be unpredictable and unforgiving. Mark, the practical one, made sure they had all the gear. He double-checked everything, from tents to first aid kits, making sure they were ready for anything. John, the funny guy, packed enough jokes to last the trip. His laughter was contagious, and he knew how to keep the group's spirits high, no matter what. And Kevin, the quiet observer, brought his trusty camera to capture their adventure. He had an eye for detail and wanted to document every moment of their journey. They set off, hearts full of anticipation, their laughter echoing through the vast expanse of Montana's wilderness. The journey ahead was unknown, but they were ready to face it together. Their campsite was tucked right next to Lake McDonald, its clear waters mirroring the sky. The calm of the lake was a total 180 from the noisy city life they had ditched. The gentle splashing of the water against the shore was like nature's lullaby for their evening. As dusk splashed the sky with shades of orange and purple, they got their camp set up. The sunset's vibrant colors made everything look like a masterpiece. They worked together like a well-oiled machine, each knowing their part, creating a vibe of camaraderie and teamwork. John's cheerful chatter filled the air as they cooked dinner, the smell of grilled meat mixing with the scent of pine. Laughter bounced off the trees, and the warmth of the fire brought a sense of comfort and togetherness. It was a moment of pure joy and chill vibes. Night fell. The forest buzzed with sounds, crickets chirping, leaves rustling, and a lone wolf howling in the distance. The darkness seemed to crank up every noise, making the forest feel both alive and mysterious. It was a symphony of nature that was both eerie and beautiful. They sat around the crackling fire, swapping stories. Tales of past adventures, ghost stories, and dreams for the future were shared. The firelight danced on their faces, creating an intimate and almost magical vibe. It was a time for bonding and reflection. But as the fire died down, casting long, dancing shadows, an uneasy feeling crept in. The once comforting darkness now seemed to hide unseen threats. The flickering light created eerie shapes, and the silence became heavy. They started noticing things. Fleeting shadows at the edge of their vision, twigs snapping way too close for comfort. Every rustle and crack made them jump, their imaginations running wild. The forest, which had felt so welcoming earlier, now seemed to be watching them. "Did you hear that?" Kevin whispered, his eyes wide with fear. "Hear what?" John chuckled, trying to sound chill, but his voice had a hint of nerves. A twig snapping, like someone stepped on it. "Did you hear it?" Mark brushed it off. "Chill out, Kev. It's just the wind, nothing more." But even he couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The laughter died down, replaced by a tense silence broken only by the crackling fire and the occasional rustle. Sleep was a long time coming that night. Every rustle of leaves, every hoot of an owl sent shivers down their spines, keeping them awake. The next morning was bright and clear, with the sun's rays peeking through the canopy. The forest seemed to wake up with the light, casting long shadows that danced on the forest floor. They decided to check out the woods, hoping to shake off the weird vibes from the night before. The group moved cautiously, their eyes darting around for any signs of trouble. John, always the clown, tried to lighten the mood. He cracked jokes and pulled funny faces, trying to distract everyone from their lingering fears. "Come on, guys. You're letting your imagination run wild. It's probably just a squirrel out there hoarding nuts for winter." His words got a few chuckles, but the tension was still thick. They ventured deeper into the woods, the trail getting sketchier with every step. The dense foliage seemed to close in around them, making it harder to see the path ahead. The air grew thick with the smell of damp earth and pine needles. Every breath they took was filled with the rich, earthy scent of the forest. It was then that Kevin noticed something off. His eyes narrowed as he tried to figure out what he was seeing. "Hold up," he said, his voice low. "I swear I saw something move over there." His heart raced as he pointed towards the dense underbrush. He pointed towards a thicket of trees, their branches twisted and gnarled. The shadows seemed to shift and move, playing tricks on their eyes. They crept up to the thicket, hearts pounding like crazy. John's earlier bravado had totally vanished. Pushing aside the branches, they gasped at what they saw. There, in a small clearing, lay a backpack. It was ripped open, stuff scattered everywhere. Clothes, toiletries, a half-eaten granola bar. This is someone else's stuff," Mark stammered, looking pale as a ghost. A chill ran down their spines. The backpack was clearly not new. It looked like it had been there for days, maybe even weeks. Fear, cold and sharp, shot through their veins. The realization hit them like a ton of bricks. They weren't alone in these woods. Panic set in. They quickly retraced their steps, their earlier chill mood replaced by a gnawing dread. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, every sound a whispered warning. They packed up their camp in a mad rush, their movements all over the place. "We need to get out of here. Now!" Mark's voice was tight with urgency. They didn't say a word as they piled into the car, the engine roaring to life like a startled animal. As they sped away, leaving behind the calm of Lake McDonald, they couldn't shake off the feeling that they were being watched, that something unseen was lurking in the shadows. They never figured out who owned that backpack. The cops looked into it, but the mystery stayed unsolved. That whole thing left a deep mark on Mark, John, and Kevin. The wild that once called them with promises of fun now had a creepy vibe. They went back to their city lives, but they were never the same. The laughs didn't come as easy. The shadows felt a bit darker. The woods, once a chill spot, now whispered scary stories, reminding them of the day they met the real wild, a place of both beauty and harsh danger. Deep in the heart of America, where towering pines cast long shadows, a camping trip took a sinister turn. This isn't your typical campfire tale. This is about the darkness within our world. Picture the rugged beauty of the Sierra Nevada, a mountain range in California known for its breathtaking views and challenging trails. The Sierra Nevada stretches over 400 miles, offering a diverse landscape that includes everything from dense forests to alpine meadows. Our story unfolds in Yosemite National Park, a sprawling wilderness of granite cliffs, giant sequoia trees, and cascading waterfalls. Yosemite is not just a park, it's a sanctuary for those seeking a deeper connection with the natural world. It's a place where nature reigns supreme, where the air is crisp and clean, and the nights are filled with the twinkling of a million stars. Every moment in Yosemite feels like a step back in time to a world untouched by modern chaos. This idyllic setting was chosen by three friends: Mark, a seasoned hiker; Emily, a nature enthusiast with a keen eye for photography; and John, a city dweller eager to escape the concrete jungle. They were drawn to the wilderness, seeking solace in its embrace, unaware of the chilling experience that awaited them. Mark, always the leader, had meticulously planned their itinerary, eager to share his love for the outdoors with his friends. His enthusiasm was contagious, and his friends couldn't wait to embark on this adventure. Emily, armed with her trusty camera, was excited to capture the raw beauty of their surroundings. Her passion for photography meant that every moment, from the smallest insect to the grandest vista, would be immortalized in her lens. And John, though a novice camper, was determined to prove his mettle in the wild. His determination and willingness to learn made him an invaluable member of the group. Their camaraderie was infectious as they set up camp near Tenaya Lake, their laughter echoing through the trees. The bond they shared grew stronger with every task they completed. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows across the campsite as they gathered around a crackling fire, sharing stories and jokes. The golden hues of the sunset painted the sky, creating a magical backdrop for their evening. The first day was a blur of exploration. the friends hiking through meadows carpeted in wildflowers. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the vibrant colors of the petals created a picturesque scene. They laughed and chatted, their spirits high as they ventured deeper into the wilderness. Their senses invigorated by the sights and sounds of the wilderness, they felt a profound connection to nature. They reached the summit of Cloud's Rest, gazing out at a vista that seemed to stretch on forever. The panoramic view was breathtaking, with endless layers of mountains and valleys unfolding before them. As dusk settled, the sky transformed into a canvas of warm colors. They returned to camp, weary but exhilarated, their hearts full from the day's adventures. It was then that they noticed a change in the atmosphere. The once comforting silence of the wilderness had taken on an eerie quality. The chirping of birds and rustling of leaves had ceased, replaced by an unsettling stillness. The laughter and chatter of the day faded into hushed whispers as they became acutely aware of their surroundings. The forest, once a place of beauty and wonder, now felt ominous and foreboding. "Did you hear that?" Emily whispered, her voice barely audible above the crackling fire. Mark dismissed it as a branch snapping under the weight of a bird. But John couldn't shake off the feeling that they were being watched. Strange noises, rustling leaves, snapping twigs, distant howls, punctuated their sleep. The following morning dawned bright and clear, but the idyllic beauty did little to dispel the unease. They packed up camp quickly, eager to leave the unsettling silence behind. The drive back was quiet, each lost in their own thoughts.